everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over some of the lesser known changes in patch 7.1.5 that are things that I still think that most players should know. And I'll also cap off the video with a little bit of a quick discussion on artifact traits in PvP, as that is a community topic that has recently somewhat exploded. Well, let's just get right into the video with talk about the legendary upgrade. This was covered in a blue post, so many won't really have seen it because that's just a sort of online thing. First, you do not need to unlock the Illidan questline stuff to get the legendary upgrade quest. The quest will be available to everyone with one or more legendary items. It will require you to collect items that drop from the Nighthold raid bosses, PvP weekly quests, the emissary bags, and also the mythic keystone cache. The items that drop from the raid bosses are going to be on a per boss non-difficulty based lockout. So as an example, if you did all of the Nighthold LFR in 1 week, that would use all of your chances. So if you then went and did it all in Mythic, you would have no more chances to get the legendary upgrade items. Once you complete the quest and get all those items, you will basically get an item which will upgrade one of your existing legendaries to 940, and I believe that's a repeatable quest. Additionally, legendaries that drop after Nighthold are going to be item level 940, so that's legendaries that drop after the 17th of January, which is coming up very soon indeed, and that'll be a pretty significant bump to all of our average item levels. Next, we've got the topic of curious coins. These are very strange things indeed. They've had such a low drop rate that for some of the rewards, you could end up like spending a year playing the game before you'd even get one of the damn things. It's a very puzzling decision the way that they shipped, but patch 7.1.5 has increased the drop rate of them. At least that's what I sort of see from reports and with my own experience. Today I got one from my Mythic Plus cache, I got one from the World Quest that I did, people in my guild reported the same thing, and just looking through Reddit, looking through all that, it seems like a lot of players have been, and Twitter as well, have been seeing an increase in this drop rate. What are these good for? Well, 50 of them buys the Boon of the Nether. We don't actually know what it does yet though. But we will know soon. It's heavily speculated that it's a general purpose loot bag that will give you a mix of kind of what all the other ones give you. It would be bizarre if it was just the best shoulder enchant ever though, so we don't really know, but it's, it might be something that you will want to have access to. There's also Galajar's Horn, which is just a big rocket thing. It does AoE damage, but it's a 1 hour cooldown. There's the Mode of Light, which makes you look like Algalon. Crota's Shield, which gives you a large absorb shield, which could save your ass, but again, it has a 1 hour long cooldown. There's Engram's Puzzle, which generates 1 bit of follower equipment every 7 days. And finally, for the cost of 150, you can get an Arcadian War Turtle. Even with this increased drop rate, that will take a very long time indeed, though. Next, we've got the topic of Marks of Honor. So this is pretty awesome. They've finally given us a decent way to get Marks of Honor. Now, Marks of Honor, if you don't know, are used to purchase old bits of Honor gear, and that's mainly for transmog purposes. It's been a pain in the ass getting these. They are currently random drops at the end of bits of PvP content, and they really are quite random, and it can take a lot longer to get a bit of PvP gear for transmog in Legion than it would have in Warlords, where you just get the honor points and buy the gear from the vendor. PvP World Quests now drop these items though, which is pretty great, and this will allow people who want to make a PvP transmog to, I think, more directly farm those Marks of Honor. Also on the topic of Class Order Hall upgrades, well, they now take half as long to research as they did prior to this patch, so your 14-day long legendary one will only take 7 days, so that's a nice little thing, especially for getting your alts up to speed. We also have the topic of the Boon of the Zookeeper. This is a new shoulder enchant. You can buy it from Dramus in Dalaran, and it gives you pet battle items. So maybe of limited appeal, but certainly handy if you like pet battles. Next, artifact power can now drop from bonus rolls as a consolation reward. It was a bit rubbish when you would just get 34 gold. Now at artifact knowledge rank 25, I got 50,000 artifact power. So I think that could be a little bit better, but overall it's great to see a proper consolation reward be added to the game, rather than a measly 35 gold, because that was a pain in the ass. You got the 35 gold, but the token would cost 500, so you're turning 500 gold into 35, felt kind of rubbish, so it's definitely great that they fixed that up with the artifact power. And I'm going to cap off this video with the small PvP discussion, because I don't really want to do an entire video on it, but I do want to mention it somewhere. So basically, patch 7.1.5 shipped with it being the case that you could use artifact ranks, or your traits, from 34 to 54, which give you a total of 14.5% extra damage in PvP. This caused a lot of outcry for a number of different reasons. First of all, PvP is not a great way of getting artifact power. Getting to rank 54 using purely PvP would take a very long time. If you want 54, you pretty much need to start grinding out your mythics, your mythic pluses with the Maw of Souls, which isn't really core content that would appeal to your average PvP player, and it's a pity that if that was the case, to sort of be competitive in PvP, you would have to do a crazy amount of PvE content, so I don't really think that would have been too great. The other issue is that the design of PvP in Legion is such that it's meant to be a more equal sort of playing field. If you've got 10 item levels more than another player, that equals like 1%. Which, is a lot smaller than it used to be back in Warlords of Draenor, where, you had players who had a lot of gear being literally 100%, maybe even more powerful than a player who was just starting off PvP. That was obviously a big problem in Warlords, and then Legion fixed that. So if you go in now just with whatever gear you're wearing, you'll stand a lot better chance in PvP content, and I think that's a really great system. However, if you then try to apply a 14.5% damage sort of change between players, I think that really just throws off the balance of how that system is supposed to be, and it makes PvP just a bit different. I think with PvP there's a lot more spec changing and things like that going on, and I just really wouldn't like it being a scenario where to, hop into a rated battleground or an arena and be effective, you would need this 14.5% damage increase. If you think about it like that, that's like having one of your class cooldowns just be on all the time versus somebody who has 54 traits versus someone who has 34. I just think that would have been a big problem. So I'm glad they've sort of, pared that back for Season 2. However, it is coming back in Season 3. That's the bit of forewarning that they gave us, which is something that right now, in the face of it, I'm very suspicious of, and I suppose I overall really do not like the idea of it. I would hope that, if they do plan on making it so that your traits through 54 are all active in PvP, I guess I would at least hope that there would be some sort of insane catch-up for the... I guess at that stage they'll want 54 to be baseline so the players can engage with whatever artifact sort of weapon progression they put in with patch 7.2, because it's likely it will have an additional progression system for your artifact weapon. But I'd then say that 14.5% damage, that's so boring. Getting, you get your 5% with I think the 35th trait, and then it's 0.5 for every trait after that. I think that's just really boring numbers that you're gaining with your traits. And I'd say that, if they expect that to be baseline, why does it even exist? Because surely then it's just contributing to a bloat of some sort. So I'm a little bit worried about that for the PvP players in patch 7.2, but in the short term I am glad that they did decide to roll back that change. Anyway guys, that's it for this video. Hit that like button if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more, but other than that, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.